Alright guys, Huke again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Scrappy has given his strong perspective on the state of this current OpTic team and what he expects going into the future as well, saying that without Mercules this most recent season, it would have been an absolute disaster, and the Process episode, he believes, will show that in full force, heavily implying that without Mercules for the upcoming season, things could also be equally problematic, but the benefit for OpTic is the Mercules is here, and he ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Some other drama on the day as well. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I wanted to start here with Toshin, a map that of course is now in the beta. People have been playing around with it, and yeah, lots of talk about how this map has played out so far. I think it looks great. I think it feels pretty great. There's talk about where the metro kind of area is, whether that's particularly well integrated with the rest of the map. Again, I think this map does have a lot of potential, but there is a feeling that it's maybe not perfect in terms of its map layout and design. Look, obviously no map is precisely perfect apart from Raid or whatever, or Stronghold, right? Whatever map you like in COD history. But the point is that it's probably going to be viable for competitive, but people were probably hoping, look, could they make some changes to the map layout? Yes. Will they? That is pretty unlikely, right? Like, it's very rarely done in COD from a beta to a main game. The only time I do remember was back in Black Ops 4. The beta came out and there was the map called Seaside. If you guys remember, the first hardpoint on Seaside was that building kind of down by the sea, as it were. And you guys probably remember that there was a walk around outside of that and you could get in kind of like the side door. But in the beta, that area was all closed off and there was only 2 entries. It was only the doors on each side. And people were like, well, I think even like it was Round 11 Stats who said it, was like, well, why didn't you open up that avenue around the outside? It will make that play better. That's what they did for the main game and it did improve things. But the thing is, they didn't necessarily design that in. The feature was kind of there already. It was just closed off. And they decided to make that adjustment. So making like fundamental map design changes before the main game, probably not going to happen, but we'll see. Toshin is talked about by Parasite. He says it'd be much better if there was a way to access the top of the train station through the center of the map. Open the train that slammed into the side of the wall. Otherwise, the top side of the map is a floodfest. No way to flank the point unless it causes flipping a spawn. So, you know, he reckons that if you open that train that slammed into the side of the wall, then that would be a route, right? So that's kind of the idea here, that maybe Treyarch can actually make some. They don't have to make a totally fundamental change to the map design, but some things that could make it a little bit better. Just because I think we're expecting that to be a competitive map, it would be nice if they could lock in a little bit. They've also got some maps for Black Ops 6 here that are coming out. I mean, again, it's not like it matters at this point, but yeah, they've got tons of these 6v6 like core maps they're coming through. This one's called Rig, and it reminds me a little bit of there's some Advanced Warfare DLC map this reminds me of a little bit. We've got Boo Town. I don't know if you guys know what this map reminds any of, but obviously you know, Halloween around the corner, so they've got a Nuketown variation, and then this one called Mothball, but that's a strike map, right? So yeah, small maps, lots of small maps. It is what it is. We're focused forwards only. Parasite was also talking about dexterity, the fact that it's effectively a mandatory perk in this game right now. Perks that are guaranteed. I mean, as Parasite says, toughness in Black Ops 2 was you had to use it. You know, perks like that, it is probably better just to integrate them into the game, but we'll see whether they do that with dexterity. It is, the perk system is not perfect in Black Ops 7. That's pretty clear. So a couple of clips I wanted to share. This was a funny one. I'll put that in the mix as well. But I also wanted to talk about this a little bit. So, you know, Shroud has been playing a bit of Black Ops 7. He's not a massive fan of it. You don't have to be. Not everyone's going to be a massive fan of it. It is what it is. But of course he's playing on mouse and keyboard, and I've not really heard this discussion had too much before. Back in the day, you guys probably remember that mouse and keyboard, yeah, people used to talk about keyboarders, right? Envoy was in this category. And the reason for that is because you could plug in, what do they used to call it, a Zim or something. You'd plug in a Zim to your controller, you'd use a keyboard and mouse, and you could use the mouse, but you would still get controller level aim assist, right? But everyone knows that in CODs, and even like Apex, for example, the way that the movement is, the controller, certainly in close quarter combat, is actually often just a superior way to play. Now, of course, aim assist on top of that does make it stronger, but that's just naturally part of playing with a joystick, right? So Dashy's perspective and Scrap's perspective on this is pretty interesting. Shroud basically says this game is cooked on mouse and keyboard, and Scrap is like, look, you're getting slammed, sunshine, so you can't complain. The game isn't bad, you're bad, was kind of the implication here. But I thought Dashy's thoughts were quite interesting, where he says, look, if I go and play Valorant, if I go and play Counter-Strike, yeah, I can play those games with a controller, but I know that I'm going to get slammed. They're not designed for it. So if I go and play those games, I play on mouse and keyboard. The implication is therefore that if you want to come play COD or some other game that is generally controller focused, you know, for example, Halo, probably a controller is still the preferential input there. Not, you know, mouse and keyboard can work. I think they've got a little bit of aim assist on mouse and keyboard in that. But the controller, for most people, is probably still preferable. That's just how it is, right? Dashy's thoughts, I don't complain about it, where that's just how the game is.
Yeah, I think this game is far gone on the mouse and keyboard. I'm gonna be honest. I think on mouse and keyboard it's over. I don't know.
Did you see the Shroud clip?
Shroud? Yeah, he's getting trick shotted. Like, yeah, I get it, bro. He's one of the best fucking players, but like, bro, don't hate the game because you're getting trick shotted.
Game, it's a controller game, bro. Like, you see me hopping on Valorant and just complaining about like people being OP on mouse, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of understand that like some games are just made for like a certain input, bro. Like that, like COD, of course the aim assist in COD is insane, but like, bro, what do you expect, bro? Like, has there not been, there's always been aim assist since like fucking, since I've been playing at least. Or COD might be the only game where like mouse and keyboard players literally go to a controller game and then feel entitled about like fucking how OP aim assist is. Like, I've never done that once with CS or Val. I've never hopped on CS or Val and was like, oh my god, dude, like they should nerf the mouse, dude. They're flicking, bro. I can't keep up with controller. Like, bro, you just adapt, bro. You just play on fucking your.
Let's try this DWC, and those guys cannot kill me at DWC. Holy fuck.
What the fuck did he just say?
Hey, Merc's the glue.
On God he is, because those fools were fucking awful before him.
I still give you props. You guys used the term in COD, the glue.
Oh, Mace is pretty good.
Hey, you know who Mace is, Richie?
Yo, he's the glue. That motherfucker.
Richie, wait for that hour and a half process, and then the first hour 15 is gonna be like them just getting straight red.
Nah, but you gotta.
And then Mercules joins, and they're back.
You know where Mercules came from, right, Richie? You know where he started, man.
He came from the fucking bottom, bro. Challenges.
So as a recording, we still don't know exactly when the process is going to be out, right? They did say that it was going to be September. A few weeks ago, there were quite a few, teases, basically, that the process was coming. Like, the beta's pretty much coming to an end. It's understandable they're not going to drop it during the beta, right, when all the talk is about Black Ops 7. It makes sense. And look, there's going to be a few weeks after this. We're just waiting for the game to come out, so it could be the perfect time to drop the process finally. And I'm sure that it's going to be an absolute movie, right? I think people will, likely when they see it, probably it's going to be a bit of a masterpiece. People are going to be pretty happy about it. But of course, there's talk about, has the hype died down and all this? But, we talked about that the other day. What I thought was interesting is Scrap talking about the state of the OpTic team, right? Because we know that process episode, whatever it shows, of course, I think we'd love it to have a little bit in there about what happened with Pred. I don't think they're going to be given too much away on that front. But the reality is that things weren't pretty. I think even Shotzzy said it, right? That you can expect to see some heated discussions, to say the very least. And that OpTic team was in a very difficult spot at the start of the year. Did they get a little better when they brought in Skies? Maybe they did. They won that series against Surge, didn't they, online, which looked pretty impressive. But then again, Surge, they are playing out of Vancouver. So, they would always say that internet situation was pretty tough. They brought in Skies, it was looking maybe a bit better, but I don't think anyone really expected that team to do anything particularly special. We know that when Mercules came in, that's what massively turned things around. That's pretty much what Scrappy says, is like, yeah, that's what the process is going to look like. You getting slammed for an hour and a half, and then Mercules comes in and magically, the anti-cheat delivers, the Messiah saves the green wall. The reality is the Mercules aren't going away, right? So whether the implication from Scrap is like, well, damn, if you didn't find Mercules, you would have been cooked last year and cooked this year as well. You can only imagine what that roster would have looked like had they not found Mercules. Because assume that Skies comes in, it's Dashy, Skies, Huke and Shotzzy until the end of the season. They qualify for champs just about. They turn up to champs. They bomb out top 6, top 4. They bomb out of the World Cup top 3, something like that, whatever. They going to keep that roster together? No way, right? Major changes would have been happening. And, you know, you wonder whether a one-man move would have been enough. It's just difficult to say what would have happened, right? But I could definitely see a world where there were major changes to that OpTic team if Mercules didn't come in and do the job that he did. But, of course, for Scrap's perspective, Merc is still there, and even if their team without Mercules was a bit of a nightmare, I mean, if you tried to replace Mercules right now and bring in somebody else, let's say Mercules was sick for a week, you got to find a replacement. It's a big challenge, right? It's a big challenge. Bring back Jordan General or something, I don't know, right? It's difficult, but he is there, and like, he ain't going away. So OpTic definitely have the team to beat. They won the 2 biggest tournaments back-to-back at the end of the season. What can LA Thieves do about that? That's a good question. And as we've said the other day, arguably the best POV to watch so far in this game might be Mercules. I know that the Drazah is pretty good, but some of the stuff that he's been doing, I mean, this final kill that he gets, so he's only got 8 bullets in, he just snaps on that guy, no questions at all. You know, there have been some good POVs in BO7, nobody's denying that, but Mercules is definitely right up there. We've seen a few clips of that effect over the last few days. So intrigued to your thoughts as always in the comments below. Speaking of OpTic, just one final thing. Highest tournament KD in OpTic gaming history, going from Ghosts until the present day. There's no Mercules on here. There's a few other players that aren't on here. There's quite a few players that are on here, right? And that are featured quite a lot. So he's featured roughly the top 30 here. I'm not going to count up every single instance of Formal, but you can see that Formal has 3 of the top 5. Dashy has the other 2 of the top 5. Kremp has 1 on here as well. I think it might be Kremp's only 1 actually over a 1.24, which does make sense. But I mean, look at this, right? Scump, Dashy, Formal, Scump, Methods, fair play. Anaheim 2018 at a 1.26. He was good that year. Formal. Shotzzy's got 1 on here as well at a 1.24 at Champs this year, and then a load of Formals as well. So pretty wild right now. Yeah, back in the day there were more events. But if you look at the top 30, I mean, even at the players that are cooking today, like Shotzzy, like Mercules, okay, in time they might have some events that get on here. But still, basically the whole list is just Formal and Scump and Dashy, and the occasional Kremp 6 in there as well. The occasional Kremp, Methods, Shotzzy, etc. And yeah, Scump has over 16 tournaments with a 1.2, Formal has 15, Dashy has 13, Kremp with 4, then Shotzzy, Zinni, Illy and Pred are the other ones that have 1. Illy's one, Brian Sat says, was at the Prime and he only played 1 series there, so maybe that shouldn't count, but it is what it is. So intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
Oh, fuck. Wait, what's the day today?
Overload device successfully delivered.
Wednesday?
Is it your anniversary or some shit?
Tuesday? Oh my fucking god.
Oh, it is
What?
Tuesday.
Wait, dude, yesterday was our anniversary. I fucked up.
What?
Nah, you're fucking around.
You're actually trolling.
Have the overload device.
No, it was the anniversary of my mom's death.
Oh my god.
Hey, you walked straight into that one, Seth.
Yeah, here we go, man.
R.I.P. Cheers.
Enemy pinpoint.
Never forget it. Let's go.
Enemies are carrying the device.
All right. You're a fucking sick bastard.